päevast, good morning, namaste. Minu nimi on Toivo ja mul on suur au korraldajate nimel täna siin öelda teile kõikidele esimese jooga- ja muusikafestivali avamiseks tere tulemast festivali pidada. Ma paluksin teie tähelepanu veelgi ühele niisugusele unikaalsele hetkele, millele mina praegu keskendusin, nimelt meie peaesinejatele. Ja mul ongi siiralt hea meel teile tutvustada meie tänaseid ühtesid peaesinejaid Satyaa Parit, kes on spetsiaalselt siia tulnud ja vastu võtnud meie kutse nende jaoks väga tähenduslikul päeval. Teatavasti nad ei reisi talvel üldse kodust kuhugi kaugele ja veelgi siia põhja. Tean näiteks neil selle aasta üks esimesi kontserte on alles aprillis Amsterdamis, kuid nad tulid siia meiega oma tarkust ja elurõõmu jagama. Neil on täna 20. ulma-aastapäev, mida meiega jagama. Palun lauale Satyaa Pari. Please come on the stage. Ja Melinda tõlgib siin.
Welcome everybody. Tere tulemas. I hope I can speak some Estonian tonight. I'm very happy. We are very pleased to be invited to come here and have this workshop first, and then in the evening also a concert. And we have a translation here, so I wait after each sentence not to speak too much.
Tere tulemast siis kõigile meie poolt ka ja ma usun, et ma saan siin mõned eestikeelsete sõnadegagi hakkama. Aga meil on väga suur rõõm siin olla, alustada tänast päeva sellise väikese workshopiga ja õhtuse kontsertiga siis jätkata.
First of all, let me introduce myself. My name is Pari and
I'm Satyaa.
And together we are many years traveling in this path of yoga, meditation, truth and love.
Ja ma siis kõigepealt tutvustan ennast, minu nimi on Pari ja minu kaaslane on Satya. Ja juba palju aastaid oleme me koos sellel jooga, meditatsiooni ja tõe teekonnal. Ja armastuse teekonnal.
And one very interesting aspect is how to combine these different aspects together in life. How one can be together as a man and a woman, and I think you understand what I mean. Every relationship has its issues and its challenges, and still be dedicated to the deepest truth of our heart.
Ja on väga huvitav, kuidas siis neid erinevaid aspekte kõiki kombineerida, olles koos mehe ja naisena ja nagu igas suhtes on ka meil omad väljakutsed ja kuidas samas jääda pühendunuks sellele tõele, mis on meie sees ja südametes.
Exactly. So, we're going to be sharing a little bit from our life together. It might be interesting for you. And then, after this sharing, what we're going to hold now, you are all invited to ask maybe some personal questions about it, because this brings actually the juice. It's not going to be just a discourse about what Satya and Pari have been going through, but you are welcome after this little introduction to ask something.
Ja me juhatame siis teema sisse rääkides alguses natukene oma suhtest ja peale seda olete te väga teretulnud küsima küsimusi. Et see workshop ei ole siin mõeldud nii, et meie räägime, kuidas Satyaa ja Pari suhe toimib, vaid et just kaasata neid küsimusi, mis teil on.
So, let's make a little experiment actually before I start to say something. Who is here together with his partner today?
Üks väike eksperiment ka kohe, üks küsimus, kes on siin koos oma elukaaslasega või paarilisega?
Lift hands. Lift hands. Okay, so some. Okay. And who is here alone today?
Ja kes on siin üksi?
Without his partner?
Ilma paariliseta.
Good. So good, we are a nice mixed gathering here.
Ja meil on siin kena selline segu.
So, first of all, let me, without making it a long introduction what happened, let me just share some basics which have contributed to this, what we experience today as a couple. Let's say how we got together. I will tell you a few little stories about it.
Ilma nüüd pikema loota, ma tahan lihtsalt rääkida mõnedest detailidest, mõnedest asjaoludest, mis on meid paarina kokku toonud ja kuidas meie suhe on kulgenud.
And we have prepared some pictures. After I will show you some pictures from India, without big organization, just a potpourri of some nice pictures which give you the feeling or the maybe some idea.
Ja meil on teile plaanis näidata ka fotosid, mõned Indiast, mõned mujalt, need ei ole mingisuguses täpses kronoloogilises järjekorras, lihtsalt väike selline kokteil sellest, mida me oleme koos läbi teinud.
As well, Satya as me also, the first quest that later manifested as singing kirtans and mantras and concerts was actually the quest for love and truth within.
Et see teekond, millel me oleme olnud nii Satya kui mina, mis lõpuks kulmineerus siis sellega, et me hakkasime koos pühenduslaule ja kirtaneid laulma, on olnud meie sisemine teekond tõe ja armastuse poole.
And this is still the number one of our common interest.
Ja see on siiamaani meie mõlema ühine huvi.
So being together as husband, because we married in India, and wife, does not mean that now we are following some rules of some marriage. We are free individual beings who follow the call of their own heart for love, authentic truth and devotion.
Ja hoolimata sellest, et me oleme abielus mees ja naine, me abielusime Indias, oleme me siiski ka ja ennekõike ikkagi indiviidid, kes lähtuvad oma südame kutsest, selle tõelise siira, tõe ja pühendumise poole.
Nice language.
Very nice.
Enjoy listening how you translate. Very beautiful. So, in the 70s, in Europe, everywhere in the world, after the 60s, there was a big revolution in the air. There was the call for freedom and love and breaking through some old rotten patterns of society.
70-ndatel aastatel vallutas kogu Euroopat selline vabanemise laine, et vanadest mustritest lahti lasta, käitumise mustritest, ühiskondlikest mustritest.
I happened to live in Germany in those days and was studying medicine and psychology in Germany.
Mina elasin selle ajal Saksamaal ja õppisin arstiteadust ja psühholoogiat.
And then I felt this call for that, what the Woodstock generation was about.
Ja siis ma tundsin endas kutsumust samas suunas liikumiseks, nagu kogu see Woodstocki põlvkond tegi.
Yeah, that was a big freedom times, in the air it was just, everybody was on the move. So I felt a call to go to India and to look for a guru, for a master, a teacher who would guide me
See oli selline suur vabaduse liikumine, mis mindki tõukas minema Indiasse, et otsida üles oma guru, oma meister, keegi, kes mind juhendaks mu teel.
Because reading a book is nice and interesting, you get some insights. But to meet somebody who represents that and who lives that and with whom you could also drink a tea and go for a walk, maybe ask a few questions or just to be with him or her, it's a completely different matter.
Et raamatuid on tore lugeda ja sealt tarkust ammutada, aga on hoopis teine lugu, kui sa saad minna inimese juurde, kes kõike seda teab, kes niimoodi elab, kellega koos saab teed juua ja jalutamas käia. See on hoopis teine kvaliteet.
I will make it short now. I visited many ashrams in India, many gurus, and I saw many teachers coming in my dreams and they were calling me here, calling me there.
Et ma püüan nüüd lühidalt seda teekonda kirjeldada. Ma käisin väga paljude erinevate õpetajate ja meistrite juures, kes mind kutsusid ka läbi mu unenägude siia ja sinna.
Somehow I went to a teacher who was actually the last on my list. It was OSHO.
Ja lõpuks jõudsime õpetaja juurde, kes tegelikult minu enda õpetajate nimekirjas oli just kui sinna viimasele kohale jäänud ja tema oli OSHO.
Because I wanted to seriously work on myself and not just to have a party.
Sest minu eesmärgiks oli teha endaga tõsist tööd, mitte pidutseda.
But then I found out that the serious work on myself was to have fun and was to have a party.
Aga siis ma mõistsin, et see tõsine töö, mida ma endaga pidin tegema, oligi see, et ma lubaksin endal rõõmustada ja lõbutseda.
And not to be too serious about that.
Ja mitte võtta seda kõike liiga tõsiselt.
Anyway, that's where also Satya was with her mother later. We got about 10 years of age distance. So we met a bit later, but not at OSHO's place. Satya was there in Pune and maybe she can say her story, how she came to OSHO, because that is something that we share together. Both of us have been staying with OSHO. In my days, in the late 70s and 80s, was maybe a little bit different than 10 years later, but that's basically something that we share. From that place we moved on.
Ja mina olin seal 70-ndatel, 80-ndatel ja hiljem sattus sinna ka Satya. Me ei olnud küll OSHO juures otseselt koos, aga Satya oli koos oma emaga tulnud Punesse ja võib-olla ta ise räägib oma teekonnast, kuidas ta sinna sattus, et ajad olid natukene erinevad.
So I was studying arts. I was living in Geneva in Switzerland, and I don't know how, somehow I met OSHO Sannyasin. My life was completely different. I was interested in studying and music.
Ma olin kunstiüliõpilane, elasin Šveitsis ja kuidagi sattus mu ellu üks OSHO Sannyasin, OSHO pühendunu ja minu elu oli sinnamaani olnud väga teistsugune. Ma olin ainult pühendunud õppimisele, muusikale.
And I was not at all having a background of spiritual parents, and this took me totally by surprise to meet this man, and it gave total meaning to my life.
Ja minu taust ei ole suugi spirituaalne, mu vanemad ei olnud vaimsate huvidega ja selle mehega kohtumine oli minu jaoks tõeline murrang või selline pöördepunkt.
And after I met him, I went immediately to India, because I had heard also that OSHO was quite sick and he might not live very long. So he told me, please, if you feel a call to go and see him, you should go quite fast.
Ja peale temaga kohtumist ma üsna peagi läksin ka Indiasse, sest ta ütles mulle, et OSHO on juba üsna põdura tervisega ja kui ma soovin temaga kohtuda, kui ma tunnen seda kutset oma südames, et siis ma peaksin kiirustama.
And it was such an opening and a change. It was like if I connected again to something I had somehow forgotten in my life.
Ja see oli suur muutus ja avanemine mu jaoks. jaoks. Mul oli selline tunne, et ma olin endas saanud uuesti ühenduse millegiga, mille ma olin ära unustanud.
So I decided I'm gonna stay with him, with OSHO forever.
Ja ma otsustasin siis, et ma jään sinna OSHO juurde igaveseks.
And somehow I knew I'm not gonna live in Geneva anymore, although I love my studies, and I felt, no, my life is different now, and I felt so much trust for that, which was bigger than me.
Which was?
Bigger than.
Et ja hoolimata sellest, et ma olin sinnamaani väga armastanud oma õpinguid, mingi osa minust teadis, et ma ei hakka enam kunagi elama Genfis, et ma tahan järgneda sellele osale endast, mis on justkui suurem minust endast.
So to make it short, actually I went there, I did a lot of, had the luck to do a lot of work on myself, because in those days in the ashram there were already many seminars and groups, from therapy to dance to really experimenting on all level.
Ja ma teadsin, et see saab olema suur töö iseendaga, selleks ajaks oli juba ashramites palju koolitusi, erinevaid õpetajaid, teraapiatest tantsuni, ja ma sain aru, et ma saan seda kõike enda peal rakendada.
But after 6 months I think OSHO died.
Aga umbes 6 kuu pärast OSHO suri.
So my plan to stay with him forever was somehow, it was not possible. I mean, he was in my heart, but the fact to be able to meet him and be inspired by him was somehow, it took me by surprise, he was gone.
Ja sinna mu plaan OSHOga igavesti jääda lõppeski, et tema surm oli minu jaoks nii ootamatu nagu üllatus, et ma ei saanudki nüüd teha seda, mida ma olin mõelnud teha.
So I stayed for another 2 years in his ashram, and I still did groups and many experiments, but after a while I felt it's not the point to always work on myself somehow. This is not why I came there, I want to be free.
Ja ma jäin sinna ashramisse veel 8 aastaks, tegin seal igasugu gruppe, töötasin endaga, aga ühel hetkel ma taipasin, et ma ei tulnud tegelikult siia selleks, et pidevalt endaga tööd teha. Ma tulin selleks, et saada vabaks.
So therapy was nice, but I felt more a call, which took me to the master, Papaji, in Lucknow, where we actually met together.
Aga ma tundsin jätkuvalt sellist kutset oma teekonda jätkata, ja see viis mind lõpuks Papaji juurde, kus me siis lõpuks ka kohtusime.
And the beauty with this master was that it was a smaller group of people, and we could really meet him, ask him questions, and one had really contact with him, because with OSHO he was already a very known master and there were many people, and so you could not have direct contact with him.
Ja Papaji võlu oli siis see, et tema ümber oli vähem inimesi ja temaga sai otse kontakti rohkem luua, et OSHO oli selleks ajaks juba väga tuntud ja kuulus ja temaga ei olnud võimalik muud isiklikult suhelda, aga selle õpetajaga me saime istuda ja küsimusi küsida ja ka omavahel tuttavamaks saada.
And I was already involved with music around OSHO. I was playing music, and my way was through dance and music, and with Papaji it went further, and it was a way for me to have contact with him. I would sing him a song. I felt so much love there that I had to express it through music, and that's how we got together, through music there.
Ja juba OSHO juures olin ma saanud aru, et minu tee on ikkagi läbi muusika ja tantsu, ja ka mu õpetajaga ühendusin ma kõige rohkem just sellest kohast, et kuna ma tundsin oma südames nii ülevoolavat armastust, siis ma lihtsalt laulsin talle ja see oli meie omavaheline ühendus. Ja nii me saime ka paariga tuttavaks.
So one of the basic difference, because the topic for today here is relationship, it's a chance and challenge. One of the main differences was that in those days, in the 70s, 60s, 70s, 80s maybe, that was about experimenting, that was about forgetting limitations, ideas, concepts, and experiment, also in terms of love, relations, commitments, and all this.
Ja kuna tänase avakuulsuse teemaks siin on suhted, võimalus ja väljakutse, siis tollel ajal oli just see hästi aktuaalne, et inimesed nendes uutes ideedes, kontseptsioonides püüdsid siis leida uut viisi ka suhteid, pühendumist, kõiki neid asju eksperimenteeriti.
So making experiences, making progress and to make basically as many friendships as possible was the way in old Pune days. This was a wild ashram.
Ja seal Punes OSHO ashramis oli just eesmärgiks luua hästi palju erinevaid suhteid, see oli üsna selline metsik aeg.
Okay, and later at Papaji it was not so much experiencing and progressing, but he pointed out to find out the experiencer, who is behind all these experiences, and the path towards that was clearly devotion.
Ja Papaji juures siis see fookus nihkus mitte kogemuste kogumiselt sellele, kes on kogemas. Ehk et Papaji juhtis tähelepanu sellele, kes on kõiki neid kogemusi kogemas. Ja see oli selgelt pühendumise tee.
So for me it was very interesting because I had the feeling already I've done it all. I had to my heart's content my party time on any aspect. And I needed something more than that, and I did not know what the next step would be in my life until I heard from a friend about this old man. He was about 80 when I found him, living in North India, called Papaji.
Ja minu jaoks oligi ülim aeg selleks juba, ma tundsin, et ma olen nii täidetud kõikidest nendest suhetest ja lõbutsemisest ja kogemustest. Ma tundsin, et ma vajan midagi sügavamat, midagi, mis läheks sügavamale. Ja siis ma kuulsin sellest mehest, kes elas Põhja-Indias, Papajist, kes tol ajal oli juba 80-aastane.
And he was very clear. He said relationship is good to basically get rid of the idea that you have to be in a relationship.
Kes väga selgelt väljendas, et suhe on põhimõtteliselt hea just selleks, et saada lahti mõttest, et sul peab olema suhe.
And the very first relationship is the marriage with yourself.
Ja kõige esimene suhe, esmane suhe meil on pühabielu iseendaga.
Love for yourself, commitment to yourself and devotion to yourself. Self is the same like God.
Armastus, pühendumine, täielik pühendumine iseendale, sest sinu enese olemus on Jumal.
So there was a lot of looking into the silence of the heart rather than expressing that in some kind of way. And although they were like looking like diametrical opposites, actually they were not. It's one and the same. Because one cannot have only this outgoing party thing, and one cannot only just sit and hope that with you go somewhere. It has to be both. The material, the human aspect of being a woman, a man, and that divine essence. They have to come together. And this is the meaning of yoga also in the relationship.
Ja seal oli väga oluliseks just oma südame vaikusele keskendumine ja selle kuulamine. Ja siis mõistmine, et mõlemad on olulised. On see väline aspekt, mehelik, naiselik olemus ja välised eneseväljendused. Ja siis on see sisemine, jumalik aspekt ja need mõlemad peavad kokku tulema. Ja see on ka see, mille kohta me ütleme, et see on jooga ka suhetes.
So I was not looking then for new adventures. I was looking for myself. And that was actually the energy field, you can say, there. But still I saw beautiful women walking around there, somehow.
Nii et selles punktis ma enam ei otsinud endale suhet, ma otsisin ise ennast. Ja samas sattus mu teele üks ilus naine, kes minust mööda kõndis.
Well, to make this short from my point, it was at one part clear. Papaji, once I visited him in his, after we met already, we knew each other already since quite some time, although we didn't have much contact. Satya was living there with her mother. Not really, she was there, but everybody was living his own life. So Papaji seemed to somehow know everything, and one day I remember also at his breakfast table that he said, I know everything.
ja Satya oli siis seal juba mõnda aega olnud, ma ei olnud talle lähenenud, ta oli seal oma emaga koos ja Papaji oli selline mees, kes teadis muidugi kõike ja siis ühel hommikul hommikusöögilauas ta ütleski mulle, et ma tean kõike.
And it was very clear for him. Very soon after this he proposed to marry us together.
Ja see oli tema jaoks väga selge ja mõne aja pärast ta tegi ettepaneku, et ta võiks meid paari panna.
So we had a Vedic marriage. Vedic marriage means hours and hours and hours of rituals and offering gifts to the gods, to the elements and to your beloved.
Meie abielutseremoonia oli vedalik tseremoonia indiapärane, mis tähendab, et seal oli tundide kaupa igasuguseid rituaale, kus tehti ohverdusi jumalatele ja oma armsamale.
Making it clear that now all the energy that you waste looking out who could be my next partner, who could be not my next partner and all that, it's simply gone. You have a lot of energy just to know you can trust your partner, that part is clear, and you can devote all your energy for the deepest quest of the heart, to be at home, to be at peace, to be with yourself.
Ja seal sai väga selgeks, et sellises pühendumises vabaneb väga palju energiat. Vabaneb kogu see energia, mida me muidu kulutame selle peale, et otsida oma järgmist partnerit. Ja nüüd sai seda energiat hakata rakendama, usaldades täielikult oma välja valitud, hakata rakendama selle sisemise otsingu teekonnal, oma sisemise sügavuse ja tõe ja pühendumise leidmiseks.
Often there were questions there in satsang, what shall we do in this case, what shall we do in that case? So the questions were often answered by telling them, if you're sitting in one boat, you should make sure that you go in the same direction.
Ja satsangil oli tihti küsimusi seal esitatud, et mida teha sellises olukorras või teistsuguses olukorras. Ja üks kõige sellisem tugevam kujund, mis sealt tuli, oli see, et kui sa istud suhtes ühes paadis, siis on oluline, et te mõlemad sõuaksite ühes suunas.
Very practical, not at all theoretical. It's just one part in our life, not the most essential part, but one important.
See on väga praktiline nõuanne ja väga oluline ja loogiline, et oma elus niimoodi liikuda.
So, and that's how we got married there.
Ja nii me seal siis abiellusimegi.
And Papaji's blessings were, he told us actually when we married, he made us a gift and then he wrote us on a postcard, and I wish you every year a baby.
Ja Papaji soov meile oli peale seda pulmatseremooniat
a son or daughter.
A son or a daughter.
A son or a daughter.
Ja tema sooviks meile oli, et me saaksime iga aasta lapse, poja või tütre.
Well, in fact, it's almost every year we produced a music CD together after we got together. Ja tegelikult on see manifesteerunud siis sellisena, et iga aasta praktiliselt me anname välja oma muusikaga plaadi. I had been a musician first before I went into that, and I thought I'd give it up because I wanted to have all my energy free of performing for other people, just to be quiet and to devote myself to God. Ma olin juba enne sellele teekonnale asumist olnud muusik ja ma olin kuidagi otsustanud, ma tahan ennast vabastada sellest, et ma ei peaks enam teistele inimestele esinema ja ma saaksin kogu oma energia rakendada mediteerimisele ja Jumalale. And through Papaji's grace it was clear that you can do whatever you want, you can sing, you can perform, you can do music, you can do yoga, whatever you do. Ja Papaji armus sai selgeks, et selles energias võib ükskõik mida teha, võib esineda, võib laulda, võib joogat teha, kõike. So, a long story, we are actually tomorrow, it's going to be, what day after tomorrow, was it the 25th, 26th about, when we met in 1995, so it's 20 years actually, that this story happened.
Ja see lugu põhimõtteliselt kõik juhtus enam-vähem täpselt päevapealt 20 aastat tagasi, 95. aastal.
So, the very first aspect for me, what is important just to finish this round, is the blessings of our experience in India, and especially around Papaji, was to establish first the strongest friendship and love and devotion for yourself.
Et see jutt siin nüüd kenasti kokku võtta, siis tahan öelda, et kõige olulisemaks õpetuseks kogu selles kogemuses, meie kohtumises ja Papaji juures oli just see, et kõigepealt ja enne kõike luua armastav suhe iseendaga, luua pühendumine iseendaga.
Because the yoga of relationship will not work if you need the other.
Sest suhte jooga ei toimi, kui sa vajad teist inimest.
But it will very well work if you like to hang out with the other.
Aga see töötab väga hästi siis, kui sulle meeldib teisega koos aega veeta.
If you're friends.
Kui te olete ka head sõbrad.
So this is basically the first marriage, and then all the other marriages are just the cherry on the cake.
Nii et see sisemine abielu on siis kõige peamine abielu ja kõik ülejäänud abielud on just kui kirss tordi peal.
And we do have our issues, you know, every man, woman stories, but this is just not the essential reason to be together.
Ja meil on omad teemad, omad väljakutsed, omad lood, aga mitte see ei ole põhjuseks, et koos olla.
And we love to share that, not because we are so wise and we know everything about men and women, but just one thing we know is that we are all sitting in the same boat.
Ja meile meeldib seda jagada teiste inimestega, mitte sellepärast, et me teaksime kõik meeste ja naiste suhete kohta, vaid selleks lihtsalt, et teadvustada, me kõik istume siin ühes paadis.
So please, if you want now, you can ask some questions. We are happily answering to them. And actually we have some pictures prepared. We can start to show some pictures also.
Ja me võime siia taustaks panna ka meie foto sellise slaidid jooksma, aga on nüüd hetk ka, et küsida küsimusi.
One of the meetings at Papaji's place in Lucknow at his breakfast table at home.
See on üks kohtumine Papaji juures tema kodus hommikusöögilauas.
A few days ago, before we had this picture done, he had just an eye surgery taken, a cataract. That's why he has these glasses.
Selle pildi peal olid Papajil prillid ees, sest oli just silmaoperatsioonil käinud, et
this is Ganesha.
See on Ganesha.
This is Ganesha now, yeah. Mm-hmm. So, dare and ask if you want share something. Yes.
Palun julgelt küsige midagi.
Do we have a mic actually, a wireless mic, then I can hear better. Yeah. It's not on, I think. Still not on. Now.
No, listen. Thank you. I'm also happy man because I have, after 1 month, 35 university with my wife. Unfortunately, she today is not here, but it's not the subject of. I like to ask the question. Are you, I don't know how to in English, kas nad on oma õpetajad petnud, et teie lasteks on, ma saan aru, ainult plaadid, aga reaalseid lapsi teil vist ei olegi,
The question is, have you perhaps betrayed your teacher that you haven't actually produced babies, that your production is the music that you have manifested?
I think his postcard was a joke.
Ma arvan, et see tema õnnitluskaart meile oli ka sellise hea huumoriga vürtsitatud.
One can have different babies, no? We have a real baby also. Now our baby is 14 years old. She's here.
Meil on ka laps, ta 14-aastane, aga lapsi või oma sellist loomingut võib ju olla erinevat.
But the other babies coming every year was a music CD. Through Satya I discovered my love for music that I was having in old days, and we are having babies in form of CDs and music and concerts.
Et läbi Satja on siis pari avastanud uuesti oma armastuse muusika vastu ja see on nende ühisloomingu vili.
And you know one thing, last thing, you cannot really betray your master because master is that presence that we all are in the heart.
Ja oma meistrit või õpetajat ei ole kunagi võimalik petta selles mõttes, et meister on see kohalolu, mis on meie südames.
So in yoga is a way to be connected with that master that is sitting here. And sometimes we need a master outside because that master points you back to the master inside. Then the outside master, he will go for a walk. He leaves you alone if he's a real good master. He leaves you alone. He wants you to be free.
Ja jooga on ka viis, kuidas me saame uuesti ühenduse oma sisemise meistriga. Ja mõnikord on vaja selleks välist meistrit, et ta juhataks sind tagasi selle meistri juurde. Aga hea õpetaja on see, kes läheb jalutama, kui sina oma sisemise meistriga tegeled.
Okay. Here we have Lakshmi. She gives babies and anything else you might need.
Tema on Lakshmi ja annab võimaluse meile oma elus vastu võtta kõike, mida me vajame.
This is one picture I always loved very much. This is Krishna and Arjuna from the Bhagavad Gita epos, Mahabharata.
See on üks pilt, mis mulle alati on väga meeldinud. Siin on Krishna ja Arjuna Bhagavad Gitast, mis on Mahabharata raamatu üks osa.
Mahabharata. So in Lucknow it was very traditional in a way. Babaji loved very much Indian culture and he brought us very, very near to that again after we were more interested in experiences of all kind of things. He was very much into the Indian culture and the meaning of the goddesses and what yoga really means.
Ja Babaji oli väga pühendunud sellele India kultuuritraditsioonile peale seda, kui me olime OSHO ashramis igasuguseid muid kogemusi saanud, oli see meie jaoks ka väga täitev taaskord ühenduda kõikide nende jumaluste ja jumalannadega ja saada aimu nende tähendustest.
So somebody else? Some
Kas
questions?
on küsimusi?
Yes, please, here in the front. Microphone coming.
Thanks. What do you recommend to those couples who are actually not in the same boat but still live together for years and years? Should they work on the relationship or should they just try to find somebody that is their soulmate?
Mis on teie soovitus nendele paaridele, kes ei sõua päris ühes paadis, et ehkki elavad koos võib-olla aastaid, kas nad peaksid tegema tööd selle nimel või siis leidma ikkagi kellegi, kes on nende hingekaaslane?
Is it concerning you? Or?
Kas see on isiklik küsimus?
Yeah. I do think that one has to go on the same boat. It might work for some time, some years, but I think if you are with a partner, I have seen many friends like that, and when one was really interested in truth or in oneself and the other not, that after some time it could not work. It's very painful, I think, to be, if you have a lot of fights, to be with somebody who doesn't share the same interest like you.
Ma arvan, et on väga oluline siiski jagada oma teekonda kellegiga, kes jagab sama huvi tõe järele või seda janu tõe järele, mis on sinus. Ja ma olen näinud nii paljusid sõpru, kes püüavad tõesti aastaid ja kui see välja ei tule, siis on ikkagi mõttekas leida keegi, kes tahab sinuga koos sõuda. Eriti kui on palju tülisid, see võib olla väga valus hingele.
Well, it's good to define what does it mean same boat.
Ja on hea muidugi ka määratleda, mida see ühes paadis olemine üldse tähendab.
For me, the same boat means definitely same interest, same basic interest.
Ja samas paadis olemine minu jaoks tähendab kindlasti nagu selliseid, et põhihuvid kattuksid. põhiline huvi elus.
Expression of the interest might be different.
Et see väljendus võib olla ju erinev.
And it has to be different.
Ja ilmselt peakski olema erinev.
Because we are 7.5 billion people with different expressions.
Sest meid on siin 7,5 miljardit inimest, kellel kõigil on oma huvidega seoses erinevad eneseväljendused.
Like for Satya, I'm expressing that always completely different. And she doesn't always like it.
Et näiteks meil Satyaga mina väljendan ennast absoluutselt teistmoodi ja see ei pruugi talle alati meeldida.
And I don't always like how she expresses it.
Ja ka mulle mõnikord ei meeldi see, kuidas tema ennast väljendab.
But we love each other and we have the same interest for dedication to God, to love and truth. That is the boat.
Aga me armastame üksteist ja meil on üks ja sama pühendumine Jumalale ja tõele ja armastusele. See on meie paat.
And if God's boat is big enough for 7.5 billion people, then my boat should be as big too, or even bigger.
Ja kui Jumala paati mahub kõik see 7,5 miljardit inimest, siis ma võiksin kaaluda ka oma paadi suurendamise võimalust. Et ka minu paati võiks mahtuda rohkem.
Until we realize that we're all same children in the same boat. But if there's all the time issues coming up in a relationship, and one goes to a doctor, to a plumber, to a psychologist, psychotherapist. I used to work on that field, you know. I was in old days also doing psychotherapy groups, and I worked many years with couples. It never changed anything.
Et me oleme kõik, on oluline mõista, et me kõik oleme lapsed ühes ja samas Jumala paadis, aga kui suhtes on palju probleeme ja pidevalt ühtesid samasid probleeme, et siis võib käia psühhiaatri, psühholoogi, torumehe, arsti, kelle iganes juures ja ma olen ise selles valdkonnas aastaid töötanud ja ma võin öelda, et see ei muuda mitte midagi.
You know, I think also when you are with a couple, you know, to go this path of truth, it's not always easy because the society works differently. And for me, when I met Pari, it was very helpful to be together because you help each other to stay on the path together. Because if you are alone in this world, you know, maybe your friends, they don't think the same way like you are, and very easily you might start to have doubts or not feel so happy. And to have friends, it's very important to have friends, and it was not only a relationship, but to have friends who think like you, are interested in the same, because like this you stay together and it really helps you.
Ja kui sa oled sellele tõele pühendumise teekonnal, siis on väga oluline, et nii sinu ümber olevad sõbrad kui sinu kaaslane mõtleksid sinuga sarnaselt või sinuga ühes suunas, sest meie ühiskond tihtipeale ei toeta seda ja siis on lihtne hakata endas kahtlema. Et mind on väga palju aidanud see, kui ma Pariga tuttavaks sain, see on aidanud mul püsida iseendas olemise tões.
I think it's more easy today because there are more people interested in yoga. Like when I started, it was when I came back to Geneva, I would have not known who really is interested in that, you know. But now there is a bit more support, and that's great.
Ja tänapäeval on see ilmselt lihtsam, väga paljud inimesed läänemaailmas tegelevad jooga või muude praktikatega. Kui mina Indiast Genfi tagasi läksin, siis ma ei teadnudki kohe kellega nüüd suhelda, kellel oleksid sarnased huvid. Aga tänapäeval on see lihtsam.
It's a nice opportunity, by the way. Satya and me, we never actually sat publicly and spoke about this issue.
Et see on siin meie jaoks ka väga hea võimalus, et Satya polegi niimoodi istunud ja rääkinud sellel teemal kunagi.
Because usually what we do is just we travel from place to place and we deliver devotional concerts, mantra concerts, kirtan. Sest
tavaliselt, kui me käime mööda maailma ringi, siis meie põhiline panus inimeste ellu on ikkagi läbi laulmise, läbi mantrate ja kirtani kontserdite.
But this is definitely very, very challenging and very interesting and essential part of our life, how to be together also as a couple. and take care of so many different aspects of life. Being mother, being father, still traveling and still being focused on that relationship with your own heart.
Ja see on kindlasti meie suhtele ka suur väljakutse, kuidas sellise elu juures, kus me kogu aeg rändame, peame olema emaks, isaks, olema silmitsi kõikide nende väljakutsetega ja samas ikkagi kogu aeg keskendunud oma sellele südametõele, oma iseendale.
So the picture behind us is just one shot of the garden of the center in Greece. I have a meditation center in Greece since 25 years now, and that is just one picture. We did not put it in a certain order, because to me it's all belonging to one and the same love, so they're a bit turning as the light.
Taustaks näete pilti, mis on tehtud Kreekas meditatsioonikeskuse aias. See on lihtsalt üks võtte sellest aiast, mis on 25 aastat juba seal Pari looduna olnud.
Any more questions?
Kas teil on küsimusi veel?
Yes. There's some.
Ma tõlgin eesti keeles. Et ilusti kõlas pühendumine Jumalale, tõele ja armastusele. Aga ilmselt tahaks teada, mida teie isiklikult ja täpselt ja olemuslikult nende sõnade ja see pühendumise all silmas peate.
It sounds all so beautiful to be devoted or dedicated to God and truth and love. But I'm interested, what is your personal meaning and depth for these words? Dedication, devotion especially.
Beautiful, beautiful question. Thank you. So, dedication and devotion to love and to God means simply the art to be quiet.
Pühendumine armastusele ja Jumalale tähendab põhimõtteliselt ainult üht kunsti olla vaikuses.
To speak, but to not believe in the word of the world.
Rääkida, kõnelda sõnu, aga mitte uskuda neid maailma sõnu.
To stay firmly established in yourself, in the quietness and love, in that natural essence that we are. That is to me devotion.
Ja kaljukindlalt püsima oma eneses, oma sisemises vaikuses. See on pühendumise tähendus minu jaoks.
To be at peace.
Olla rahus.
What we mean by love, God, truth. Three words, one same meaning.
Nendel kolmel sõnal Jumal, tõde ja armastus on üks tähendus.
And that meaning is the reason why we are practicing so many lifetimes and so many years and centuries. Yoga and meditation cannot be explained, it's not theoretical, it's not from the mind.
Ja seda tähendust ei saagi mõistusega kirjeldada. See on see põhjus, miks me aastatuhandeid praktiseerime joogat ja meditatsiooni.
But can be experienced when all words disappear.
Seda on võimalik kogeda siis, kui kõik sõnad kaovad.
Something remains when all words disappeared, all philosophy, all theory has gone, something remains.
Midagi jääb alles siis, kui kõik sõnad kaovad, kõik filosoofiad, kõik teooriad kaovad.
And to that I bow down.
Ja sellele ma kummardun.
In fact, even to say I bow down is not quite correct.
Ja isegi pole õige öelda mina kummardun.
But I have to use words.
Aga mul on vaja kasutada sõnu.
Because the object and the subject, actually they are one and the same. So God is not somewhere out and we are not somewhere in. It's one and the same. The object of devotion and the devotee are actually one.
Ja nii objekt kui subjekt on ühes. Ei ole nii, et Jumal on kuskil väljapool, kelle poole me siis kummardume. nii pühendumise objekt, pühendumine ise kui pühenduja on kõik üks.
That's why I said, first you have a master or teacher, or you think, no, there is God. I want to go to God. I want to go to God.
Ja sellepärast on alguses on hea ka õpetaja või kellegi poole, kelle suunas meie justkui liigume või et mina liigun Jumala poole.
And the more one grows and understands, one realizes, oh, it's all here, it's me. And this is not this me that we think about, it's a bigger me that embraces the whole universe, including that object or subject.
Mida enam inimene kasvab ja avardub, seda enam saab ta teadlikuks sellest, et see, mille poole ta püüdleb, on tema ise ja mitte see mina ise, see väike mina, vaid midagi, mis ongi Jumal meie iseeneses.
I thank you very much for your beautiful question.
Suur tänu sulle selle ilusa küsimuse eest.
Nii, mina küsiks mingisugust või mina küsiks midagi sellist hästi tavalist igapäevast praktilist asja, et kas on ka mingisugune praktika, mida nad igapäevaselt teevad lisaks laulmisele ja kohaldumisele?
I have a question about daily practical issues. Do you have some kind of a practice that you do every day besides your singing and togetherness?
You can say. Daily practice, yes. I talk for myself. I have a daily practice.
Ma räägin iseenda kohta, jah, mul on igapäevane praktika.
The first thing I do when I wake up in the morning,
esimene asi, mida ma hommikul ärgates teen,
and my eyes go up,
ja mu silmad avanevad,
I feel,
ma tunnen,
and with that, I go to the bathroom and start to...
ja selles aas ma lähen vannituppa ja hakkan hambaid pesema.
And then I clean my toothbrush, put it away, and they still
ja ma pesen oma hambaharja ära, panen selle ära ja ma olen ikka selles
And then I see my wife and say
ja siis ma näen oma naist ja ütlen samamoodi
Then we might have time to give us a hug and still it's
ja kui ma teda siis kallistan, kui meil on selleks hetk, siis ma olen ikkagi samas seisundis.
I'm like a wandering child. How did I end up here? What beauty is this? What unknowability is this?
Ma olen nagu üks imestuses või sellises imetluses laps, kes kogu aeg mõtleb, et huvitav, kuidas ma küll siia jõudsin, milline ilus tundmatu, aga väga kütkestav paik see on.
We have forgotten the language of the mysterious and the wondering. We think we know everything, but if you unlearn what you know, everything is a miracle. Even that we are here, gathered now here in Tallinn today at this time, it's a miracle, it's beautiful.
Me oleme ära unustanud selle imetluse ja imestuse koha, et me juba arvame, et me teame kõike. Aga vaadatagi kas või seda, kuidas me kõik oleme siia sattunud täna, et me oleme täna siin Tallinnas istumas teie ees, see kõik on üks suur ime.
So this is my daily practice.
See on minu igapäevane praktika.
And sometimes we sing together very often, even we do music together. Either she picks the harmonium or the guitar and then we sing, we go for a walk. And another daily practice, we cook together.
Ja tõepoolest muusika on meie ühine praktika, me väga tihti laulame koos või mängime instrumente ja üks meie igapäevane praktika veel on söögi tegemine.
So my daily life is my ashram.
Et minu igapäevaelu on nagu minu ashram.
No further practice needed, yeah.
Rohkem mingeid erilisi praktikaid ei ole.
But Satya might have a completely different idea.
Satyal on võib-olla täiesti oma idee sellest.
Ça va? Ça va très bien. Ça va alors. Yeah. Beautiful man.
Tervist.
Yeah.
Tänan teid jagamast oma kogemusi.
Thank you for sharing your experiences.
Ja mul on selles ühes paadis sõitmise kohta niisugune küsimus, et mõnikord pool sõidab ühes paadis ja ühes suunas ja teine pool ei sõida.
I have a question about going in the same boat together, that sometimes half the party is rowing in one direction and the other half is not.
Et süda või kuskil sees ütleb, et on suured tunded, aga mõistus ei saa üksteisest aru.
The heart might be confirming that there are big feelings, but the minds do not have like a compatibility, they don't understand each other.
Et mida siis teha, et kas leida ikkagi endale selline partner või oodata sellist partnerit, kes siis nagu täielikult sõidab sinuga ühes suunas või on seal mingid võimalused pooliku suhte osas?
Is there a chance to somehow harmonize, or should we look for a partner who is in all ways going in the same direction?
Yeah, there is a chance.
Võimalus on ikka.
I will tell you my own secret about it.
Ma räägin siin välja oma saladusest.
As honest as I can.
Nii palju kui ma saan seda teha.
I have discovered that the faculty that creates big feelings and big emotions is always the same, one and the same.
Ma olen avastanud, et see omadus, mis põhjustab või toob üles selliseid suuri tundeid, suuri emotsioone.
It's what we call the mind.
Seda me tegelikult nimetame meeleks.
So I have learned to laugh about this.
Et ma olen õppinud selle üle naerma.
To see it, and it has never anything to do with a partner. It's always how I respond to the actions and the perceptions that I have from my partner.
Ja sellel pole tihtipeale midagi isegi pistmist minu partneriga või paarilisega. See on see lihtsalt, kuidas ma reageerin, kuidas mu meel reageerib sellele, milline mu paariline on või kuidas ta käitub.
On one polar parties we can play ping-pong. Ping-pong.
Üks võimalus on mängida ping-pongi niimoodi.
On the other parties, you see when there is no pong, there is no ping.
Teine võimalus on aru saada, et kui ei ole pingi, siis ei ole pongi.
It is not neglecting or not loving or not looking at the other. It's just looking a bit deeper in myself.
Ja see ei tähenda, et ei peaks vaatama või tähele panema seda, mida armastatu teeb või teda armastama või mitte armastama. See on lihtsalt koht, kus vaadata natukene sügavamale iseenda sisse.
And there I can discover I am always free to act or not to act.
Ja seal ma avastan, et mul on alati võimalus kas teha mingi tegu või mitte teha, ehk kas reageerida või mitte reageerida.
And I have a choice between drama and rama.
Ja mul on valik, kas draama või rama.
And rama means for me silence, means love, means respect, means not reacting.
Ja rama tähendab minu jaoks vaikust, armastust, austust, mitte reageerimist.
One cannot force oneself, this came because I had a lot of drama.
Ja meil ei ole võimalik ennast sundida, et draama on ka minu elus mänginud olulist rolli.
If you know exactly how drama is being created, then you are really thirsty for rama.
Kui sa tead täpselt, kuidas draama sinus sünnib, siis tekib janu ka raama järele.
That's why I advise everybody have as much drama as possible.
Seepärast minu soovitus kõigile on võtta seda draamat vastu nii palju kui võimalik.
Not be holy too soon, too early.
Ei ole vaja kohe pühakuks hakata.
Because if you avoid this, nothing happens.
Sest kui hakata kohe raama ja mantratega pihta, siis ei juhtu mitte midagi.
We have to be humans, we have to be natural, we have to relate on that level where we feel this is my truth.
Me peame olema inimesed ennekõike, olema loomulikud ja suhtestuma teistega sellelt tasandilt, kus me kõige tõelisemalt ennast tunneme.
And a relationship is the best mirror for that. Because if I'm alone, I can think, oh, I'm beyond that, I'm beyond this, I'm beyond. And as soon as you have a close relationship, because she or him, they know exactly your pretentiousness, maybe, or your fakeness, maybe, or where you're not really honest, maybe. And they will push that button sooner or later.
Ja selles kohas ongi suhted ja lähedussuhted kõige olulisemateks abivahenditeks, et meie lähedased tihti teavad ja võib-olla, mitte olla nii, kus me oleme ebasiirad või kus me oma maske kanname või kus me oma nõrkusi varjame ja nad oskavad täpselt nendele punktidele ja nupukestele vajutada, et me ise ka nendest teadlikuks saaksime.
Thank you.
Thank you too, brother. Yes.
My question sounds as it's maybe a pun or something, but it's really a serious question about your opinion.
See.
How many years or decades of drama is enough?
Et see võib nüüd tunduda sellise nalja tegemisena, aga tegelikult ka, et sinu kogemuses Pari siis, et kui palju aastaid või aastakümneid seda draamat peaks piisama ühe inimese jaoks?
My beloved friend, this depends on your attractedness to drama.
Mu armas sõber, see sõltub sinu kiindumusest draamasse.
I was born in a country where we even created the word drama.
Ma olen sündinud riigis Kreetas, kust on sündinud ka sõna draama.
Story, so I love to hope, oh, the next relationship will be the best.
Ma olen sündinud siis riigis, kus mõeldi välja sõna draama ja minu elus on ka olnud seda ootust, et mu järgmine suhe saab kindlasti olema kõikidest kõige parem.
So life gave me a lot of experiences of that. I did not learn it anyway, because you might hear something, but if you don't feel it, if you don't really feel the pain, what it means.
Elu on andnud mulle palju võimalusi draamat kogeda, aga ma ei mõistnud seda, sest kui sa tegelikult ei võta vastu seda valutunnet või mida see tegelikult sinust tähendab,
then the drama will go on.
Siis see draama muudkui jätkub.
That's why you look around, this whole planet is full of drama. Political, economical, social, it's a full drama.
Sellepärast, kui me vaatame oma maailmas ringi, siis kogu meie elu nii poliitilisel kui ühiskondlikul tasandil on kõik väga dramaatiline.
So if I manage to be beyond the drama alone is great, but if I manage to be beyond the drama in a relationship is even greater.
Nii et ma võin küll mõelda, et ma suudan draamast üle olla või ühest või teisest asjast üle olla, aga kui ma suudan seda ka suhtes, oma lähisuhtes, siis see on kõige parem.
Because you're a very honest man, I can see and feel that and I appreciate. We still have issues. Every day something might come up. I might want to cook rice and she wants, not again, these carbohydrates. She says, I want salad. I often eat rice, I love rice, for example, and then she says always, not again your carbohydrates, I want salad. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates. Carbohydrates.
Yeah, sorry.
Carbohydrates.
Et ma näen, et sa oled väga ausameelne mees ja ma väga hindan seda, aga ma tahan sulle lihtsalt öelda, et ka meie igapäevastes suhetes tuleb kogu aeg ette selliseid väljakutseid, et mina tahan võib-olla keeta riisi, aga Satja ütleb, et me ei taha jälle süsivesikut süüa, teeme salatit.
But what always happens, somehow we look at each other, we laugh, and then either she will have some rice with me or I will forget my carbohydrate and have salad.
Ja asi lõpeb tihti peale sellega, et me hetkel ikkagi vaatame üksteisele otsa ja puhkame naerma selle peale ja lõppkokkuvõttes, kas tema sööb natuke riisi või mina loobun oma riisist ja söön salatit ja alati on mingi lahendus.
Riis? Is rice?
Riis, yes.
Riis, Riis, I love riis.
Mulle väga riis meeldib.
Yes? The mic.
Vabandust, mikrofon minu käes, ma küsin vahepeal äärmus.
Mikrofon? Disappear?
Here.
Here. Okay, after here. Yes, please.
I will start in Estonia.
Yes, please.
Eestlased on praktilised ja otsekohased, et ma vabandan juba ette otsekohase küsimuse pärast.
Estonians are very practical and straightforward people, so I apologize already for my straightforwardness.
Yeah.
Et see tehnika kirjeldus, mida te kirjeldasite, mida te iga päev teete, et see suure tõenäosusega aitab siin saalis võib-olla paar inimest. Et suure tõenäosusega te tegelikult nende kümnete aastate jooga teelolekul ikkagi tegite mingeid praktikaid. Et võib-olla te meenutate midagi sellest minevikust, kus te alustasite, mis oleks inimestele siin praktiliselt kasutatud.
This daily practice that you shared with us is perhaps helpful only to a handful of people here. And surely on your long path through yoga and all these different practices, you have found other things that could maybe be more supportive or beneficial for the audience here. Maybe you could share some.
Võib-olla meenutate mõnda, mida siis, kas seal erinevates aastakutes, kus te kasutasite mõnda tehnikat, mida kes võib-olla teid muutis kõige rohkem?
Perhaps in your journey through different ashrams, you have found some practices that you would recommend that have changed you the most.
Absolutely. Very good. Thank you that you share this.
Aitäh.
You know, because this is a short, I could tell you about many experiences with yoga and meditation ashrams. I've done it about 30 years about.
Ja, et selle 30 aasta jooksul olen ma kogenud tõesti väga palju ja siin ei ole nii palju aega, et nendest kõikidest rääkida, aga ma tahan jagada, jah.
I started with yoga in the early 70s. It was not a big fashion.
Ma alustasin joogaga 70ndate alguses, kui see ei olnud veel väga moodne.
I was not old, but I felt I have to do something because always I was thinking, looking something.
No tundus, et ma pean midagi ette võtma, sest ma kogu aeg justkui nagu otsisin midagi, kogu aeg mõte töötas.
And then I was playing in bands, I was playing rock and blues and there were a lot of parties and everything.
Ja ma olin muusik, ma mängisin rocki ja bluesi ja osalesin tänu sellele väga paljudel pidudel.
So I started to have a daily practice of meditation and yoga. When I was about 16, 17, I started with it.
Ja kui ma olin 16-17 aastane, ma alustasin igapäevase jooga ja meditatsiooni praktikaga.
I did not speak too much about it.
Ma ei rääkinud sellest eriti avalikult.
In order to finalize, to finish with something, you have to have experienced it. I started with the finishing.
Selleks, et midagi mõista, peab olema selleks eelnev kogemus.
But I've done many years of yoga and meditation.
Ja muidugi ma siin alustasin sellest, milleni ma olen jõudnud nüüd lõpuks, aga aastaid praktikat on mul olnud.
Ultimately what I wanted to share is that whatever we do is yoga.
Kõige olulisem asi, mida ma tahan jagada, on see, et mida iganes me teeme, see on jooga.
In the beginning I need my yoga mat.
Alguses on mul vaja oma joogamatti.
I need my asanas sequence.
Oma asanad, liikumised.
And later, that's why I said that I just need a toothbrush and a breakfast. That's also yoga.
Ja lõpuks ma jõuan selleni, et mul on vaja ainult oma hambaharja ja hommikusööki ja see on saanud minu joogaks.
Or a talk with a friend, which is also yoga for me.
Või minu jaoks on üheks joogavormiks ka sõbraga rääkimine.
Everything is yoga.
Kõik on jooga.
Another straightforward, please.
Palun veel otsekohesemalt.
Selle viimase joogatehnika puhul te nimetasite ka, et püüate olla iseendas. Et võib-olla siis üks näide sellest, kuidas üks teie õpetajatest on teil aidanud iseendani jõuda. Kuidas see on päris suur muutus. ja päris kõik inimesed ei saa sellest ühtemoodi aru, et missuguste tehnikate või missugusel aja või missuguste mõjutuste tulemusena see juhtus.
Beautiful language.
You mentioned also about your last practice that it's most important to stay within yourself, stay connected. But what are the practices, or maybe what is it that your gurus or teachers have told you how to achieve that, how to be in and maintain this connection? What is the practice?
Yes. First, my teachers have told me how to learn to stay with myself by meditation, by yoga, by understanding.
Esiteks on minu õpetajad rääkinud mulle, kuidas jääda iseenda juurde, tulla iseenda juurde läbi jooga, meditatsiooni, yoga.
Yeah, that's it. And when you really practice it and you understand the essence, then you are with yourself always anyway. You can never actually be not yourself. Once one understands this, you don't need the practice of it anymore. You are what you have learned.
Ja kui sa saad sellega ühenduse, siis sul ei ole vaja enam mingisugust praktikat ega joogat. Sa oled see, millest sa oled teadlikuks saanud.
So it's very helpful every day to have a certain time which you dedicate for yourself, to get in a ritual of giving yourself the time that is necessary to feel yourself. Every day I was doing it for many years, the same time, meditating, being quiet.
Nii et see ongi põhiline, et iga päev leida enda jaoks see aeg ja teha ruumi sellele, et olla lihtsalt iseendaga koos. Olgu selleks meditatsioon või jooga või midagi muud. Lihtsalt aastaid olen minagi teinud seda, et ma ühel kindlal ajal võtsin aega iseenda jaoks, et kuulata sissepoole.
But I would like to ask you something.
Aga ma tahaksin ka sinult midagi küsida.
Is there any moment in your life when you are not yourself?
Kas on mõni hetk sinu elus, kui sa ei ole sina ise?
There are moments when I forgot it.
Actually,
there are no moments when I'm not myself, but there are many moments when, for example, you go together with emotion or even thought.
Yeah, that's
then I forgot to be myself.
Yes.
So there are a lot of moments too, when I don't know them.
Yeah.
Et enamustel hetkedel ma olen ikkagi mina ise, aga ma unustan ära selle ja võib-olla lähen kaasa mõne emotsiooni või mõttega.
So with the time, we learn that it's always the best to be with yourself.
Ja aja jooksul me õpime, et alati on parim asi on olla lihtsalt iseendaga koos.
Because the whole world is in the self. The whole world is here. Nothing is missing. And for this, some time of some strict practice might be needed in many cases. Yes, that's why we have yoga and many other cases.
Sest kogu aeg ja kogu maailm on tegelikult sinu sees, see sisaldub sinus. Ja mõnikord on vaja selleks mõnda praktikat või joogat.
But for us both, for Satya and me together, when we sing and we pour our love out to the divine, this is what holds us together. This is what feeds the heart. This is what gives us deep pleasure and peace and happiness and stillness. So the music, what we do together, is actually for us, you can say, the practice which stayed after we dropped all other practices. But that music is for us the most connective and connecting practice.
Ja minu ja Satya jaoks on see, kui me teeme koos muusikat, kui me kallame armastuse oma südamest välja ja laulame neid pühenduslaule. See on see koht, kus on täielik rahu ja see on see praktika, mis jääb alles siis, kui kõik teised praktikad on ära langenud. See on see, mis meid oma vahel ühendab ja mis hoiab meie suhet.
Okay.
Hello. Thank you for sharing your stories and so nice to see you here in Estonia again. So I'm gonna go in Estonian.
Where are you?
Over there.
Nice to see you.
Suur tänu tuleb siis sealt poolt ja aitäh, et te olete taas Eestis.
I'm gonna ask because no one did.
Please.
et kui oluliseks nad peavad seksuaalsust kogu selle ühise kulgemise ja kõrgema liikumise kõrval või siis nagu mitte kõrval, aga koos sellega, jah, selle sees.
How important is to you the role of sexuality in all your common movement towards something higher? How important is sexuality and what is the role of it?
I
know what you will answer. Well, sexuality is beautiful. It brings us together also. We are not against sexuality.
Seksuaalsuse vastu ei ole meil midagi, see on imeilus ja see on midagi, mis meid ju toob üksteisele veel lähemale.
I think for men it's very important sexuality.
Mulle tundub, et meestele see on väga oluline.
It's an old myth.
See on üks vana müüt.
But I love that myth.
Aga mulle meeldib see müüt.
Because I believe that for women it's as important.
Sest mulle tundub, et ka naiste jaoks on see sama oluline.
Because without sex, not a woman, not a man would be sitting here.
Sest ilma seksita ei istuks siin ühtegi meest ega naist.
So it is a very important energy in our life and very thankful that you asked this question. I was waiting for it somehow.
See on väga oluline energia meie eludes ja aitäh, et sa selle küsimuse tõstatasid. Ma justkui oleksin juba oodanud seda.
For some reason, down the ages, there was always this conflict about sexuality and sensuality and all that human normal feelings.
Millegipärast on läbi aegade olnud meis konflikt oma seksuaalsuse ja sensuaalsusega seoses, mis tegelikult on ülimalt loomulikud inimomadused või osad inimesest.
It's a big issue. I will make it very short because we can talk for hours and hours and hours about it.
See on väga lai teema, millest võiks tunde vestelda, aga ma püüan lühidalt vastata.
If I would like to share my honest feeling about it with you, I would say, and I want to share that, if you treat sexuality innocent, like food, like sleep, the same. If you treat it in an innocent, normal, human way, it is not good, it's not bad, it's beautiful.
Kui suhtestuda seksuaalsusega süütuse kohast ja kohelda teda endasse samamoodi nagu sa mõtled söömisest või magamisest, et seksuaalsus kui midagi väga loomulikku, et ta ei ole hea ega halb, siis ta on lihtsalt imeilus.
And it's not an impediment to spiritual growth. Please take this in your heart. Sexuality is not an impediment to any spiritual growth.
Ja palun võtke see kõik oma südametesse teadmiseks, et seksuaalsus ei ole mitte mingisuguseks takistuseks vaimsel arenguteel.
No impediment. On the contrary, if you try to suppress it,
vastupidi.
This will not do anything. This will not help.
Kui me püüame oma seksuaalsust maha suruda mingisuguste vaimsete põhimõtete nimel, siis see ei aita meie arengule mitte kuidagi kaasa.
Yes, I got that, but I was more like I love sex and I love food like you do, but I mean, if you have been together so many years, then how do you still keep this desire and passion towards each other?
In my case, it gets even more. I don't know how, but the desire and passion gets more.
Küsimus oli siis selles, et kuidas pikki aastaid koos olles hoida seda tuld ja kirge üleval. Ja pari vastus on, et minu jaoks on see ainult kasvanud aastatega.
And not only, by more I mean, I appreciate beauty, I see beauty everywhere, but the desire to run and do something about it, it gets less and less.
Aga see on selles mõttes kuidagi teistpidi, et ma märkan ja naudin ja väärtustan ilu väga, aga mul ei ole seda tungi selle ilu järele joosta. See on aastatega vähenenud.
And everything lived normally, naturally, subsides in its own timing. One doesn't need to fight against sex, one doesn't need to overemphasize it like this pornographic society, thinking that she is so free from sex. It doesn't bring anything. It doesn't bring anything, and to suppress it also doesn't bring anything. Live it in a normal human way.
Ja kui me suhtume seksuaalsusesse kui millessegi ülimalt loomulikku, siis tal on alati oma aeg ja koht, et seda ei ole vaja üle võimendada, nagu meie pornograafia meelne ühiskond seda teeb, ega ka alla suruda. Nii et kui selle lasta loomulikult olla, siis see on lihtsalt üks ilus osa elust.
Well, I have one more question.
Üks küsimus veel.
That came from a friend of mine.
Yes.
What about children? What is the key to raise them beautifully? The way you see life at the moment isn't the way you saw it when you were 10 years old or 14, as you're.
What is the key?
How
raising kids?
Because you want your child to make those
yes.
decisions that maybe are not right, but you know that they will learn from it. But how do you protect them, but still, encourage them?
Kas sa tahaksid eesti keeles ka küsida seda pikka küsimust? Et kokkuvõtvalt siis, et kuidas oma lapsi kasvatada nii, et nad oleksid selles meelsuses kasvanud või selles kaitstud kuidagi, see mõnitab.
Well, my guru used to say that if you love yourself and dedicate yourself to truth, then you can share that with your child. You can teach your child to love itself, and yeah, if you go in life with this trust and love for yourself, then you will have easier time to make decision or to deal with life.
No guru alati ütles mulle, et kui sa iseennast armastad ja oled pühendunud tõele, siis sa saad seda loomulikult jagada ja õpetada ka oma lastele. Ja see, kui lapsed õpivad iseennast armastama ja lähtuma oma tõest, siis on kõiki otsuseid ka lihtsam teha.
One last thing I would like to say about it. The best thing, the best gift and the greatest gift I can give to my daughter, to my child, is to love her and to love her to be free, to be also even against me and to choose for her what she likes to do. Like now, Papa and Mama, they're singing mantras. Ram, Ram, Shri Ram, Jaya Ram, Ram, Ram. But she might like to listen to other music, Madonna or whatever, and some punks and whatever. I want that she feels free. For me, it gives me the biggest pleasure to see our daughter growing up and doing what she wants to do from her own heart. From her own heart. Not because I want her to do or Mama wants her to do, but to support her to just grow like a young flower and become then an expression of her own being. Not of what I want her to be. If I love somebody, I let this person be free.
Ja viimane asi, mida ma tahan selle teema kohta öelda, on see, et oma lapses, oma lapsega suhtestumise koha pealt, et ma lihtsalt armastan teda ja ma armastan tema vabadust, olla tema ise, et ta võib olla ka vaba olema minu vastu, et ta teeks oma otsuseid oma südame tõest lähtuvalt ja mitte sellepärast, et ta emme või issi laulavad mantraid ja et ta ei peaks tundma ennast nagu kohustatuna sellest, et tema võib kuulata Madonnat ja see on minu suurim kingitus, mis ma saan talle anda, tema enda otsuse vabadus ja see teeb mulle kõige rohkem rõõmu.
Did I say all that?
I really should.
Okay, thank you, Melinda. Thank you, everybody who joined this.
Thank you.
And may this weekend be a beautiful weekend for you with many beautiful experiences and meetings.
Aitäh teile kõigile ja olgu see nädalavahetus teie jaoks täis ilusaid kogemusi ja ilusaid kohtumisi.
Blessings to everybody. Namaste.
Ja õnnistusi kõigile. Namaste.
pas de chance.